Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Saras and I'm going to show you how to create a program in C++ that will just convert your centimeters to meters. So user will just enter centimeters and then the program will just convert it into meters. So let me just open an IDE for you and then write the program. So, oh, no, that's not the ID. I deleted my ID, so I have to install it again. So this is just an installer. So install. So that may take a while. Okay. So okay, first, what you need to know is that when you convert from meters to centimeter times by 100, then but then when you convert from centimeters to meters, you divide by 100. So that is the mathematics that you need when you are doing that conversion. So let's talk about the pseudocode while we are installing this IDE. So what is a pseudocode? A pseudocode is a step-by-step process that you need to have whereby you are creating before you create your program. So my lecturer in my first for the first time in computer science, like the first lecture for programming in C++, like my lecturer taught us about pseudocode, and then he made an example of a chicken stew, and then he said that a pseudocode is like the steps that you take when you are going to make your chicken stew. So in order for you to create a chicken stew, you have to have a container. So you have to have a container to hold that chicken. So and also you have to have knives to cut the chicken. So it's like those are the tools that you need. You have to have a stove. You have to have spices. You have to have other things like many tools that you'll use. You have to have procedure. You have to have the steps. You know that no, I have to boil water if you are going to boil water. Then I have to put some chicken. I have to light up the stove. I have to know the measurements of salt, spices, all that stuff. So, but now in programming, it's the same thing, but it's just now we are talking about the variables. We are talking about the for loops. We are talking about the while loops, do loops, if statement. Those are conditional statements. So if we are now in C++, or I mean, let me just say in programming world, when we talk about a pseudocode, we talk about those steps that we need. For instance, if I want to make a program that adds 1 plus 1, so in order for me to write a program that adds 1 plus 1, I have to know what am I going to need. So I have to have operation first, a plus sign. So I have to have operation. I have to have containers. I have to contain the numbers there. So those are the variables for numbers. So that I, of course, I'm going to add numbers. So I have to have the containers which are variables. Then I have to have also the operation. So a plus b is equal to the answer. So yeah, answer will be also a container, and so it's just a variable. So for instance, just say integer A, integer B, integer C, or integer answer. So say say answer or C is equal to A plus B. So I have to just say C out C. So if if I say A equals to 1 and then B equals to 2, so obviously my answer will be equals to 3. So the things that I will need like ITEs. So even though we will not include ITE, integrated development environment, you are going to need ITE when you are going to write a program. You need ITE, like Dev C++, the one that I'm installing right now. You need ITE like this one. Pseudocode is very important, especially when you are further with C++, data structures and algorithms. You have to know pseudocode by heart. You have to know pseudocode by heart just because it's important. By the time you finish pseudocode, you have finished the whole program just because it's a planning and it's a great planning. That planning helps you to show you how you are going to write your program, and also it makes things easier for you. So yeah, now I have finished installing this IDE, so now I'll just jump to it. Yeah, let me open it so that I continue with the installation and then write the program. It takes, yeah, what's the problem? What's the problem? I don't know what's the problem now, but it shows then disappeared. Let me click here, maybe. Okay, so let me say next English. I want to choose this, but I hate that color for my eyes, so I want to matrix. Yeah, consoles, font, icons. I'll put this one. Oh, it's bad. It's terrible. Let me just use the there's Korea. Yeah, I was using that one, so yeah, it's good. Yeah, yeah. And now let me just open this file, and then yeah, and then I want to increase my font so that you can be able to see my screen. Yeah, so let's first save our file as measurement converter. Measure and I don't know if I've introduced myself. I'm serious, but I think I've introduced myself. Converter, measurement converter .cpp. So this is the extension this file will take. .cpp. So save. Yeah. So first, hashtag include hello string. Then after this, I say using name space standard. Then after that, I have to. So these are preprocessor directives. All those are statements, instructions that starts with this hash symbol. This hash symbol. Those are preprocessor directives, and they are processed by the preprocessor program. So int main function or return 0 there, or return 0, or return 0. So let's write that pseudocode that we talk about actually, yeah, so that yeah you can be you can learn it now, guys, how to write the pseudocode. Let me write this thing. There are things like that are important, like this one, like the author of the code. This is not a pseudocode, by the way. This just shows who created the program, uh, the description of the program, and yeah, when was the program created. So the author, it's Cyrus. You can say that. Uh, then date. There's the date below, so it's 2021 10/27, and then now we jump to the pseudocode. So the pseudocode, I have to make that beautiful so it can look good. These are the things that you can use to just make your program to look good. I know you guys are programmers, and I know you are very creative, so these are the things that you have to know, that okay, how do I make my program to be as creative and good looking as possible. So you have to practice these things and to make them every day. So yeah, I've finished this one. So see this part, that looks very beautiful. So what we want to do now, we want to create a pseudocode. So pseudocode, it's a pseudocode. Pseudocode. So what you want to do, want to make a pseudocode. As I explained earlier, pseudocode are just the steps that you will follow when you are creating your program. So these are just the steps that we're going to follow when you're creating your program. So let me just right there. So now let's begin our circuit. One. So first step, I have to declare my variables. Of course, I have to declare variables. So when you declare variables, you are just allocating the space in memory that I want to store in this container. Of course, okay, this is a number, so variable number. Okay, let's have our numbers. Let's have the variables num1, num2. Let me just put them like this because we are talking about centimeters and meters. So I'll just write centimeter, and then meter for meters, and then yeah. So I have to input that. So after I have inputted that, yeah. So these are the variables. So of a type, data type. So they have to have a data type when you are declaring them. So you are allocating the memory. So those will be floats, because centimeters you can have, they can be decimal sometimes. So you just have to be careful. You can just say double. I don't know if it was, yeah, but you can say that. It's up to you. And so I'll just declare them double. So these are variables. So then step number two. So the operations. 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 So operations. These are the operations that you will do on your variables that you have declared. So we have centimeters of meters. So the user will just enter the centimeters on the keyboard, and then they will be converted into meters. So in order for that to happen, you just say centimeter, then you multiply them with 200, and then you get you'll get, okay, you will get the desired output, which are meters. But then you have to also accept the input there, because so I think declare variables and also accept the input. I'll just put those steps. I'll just put another step there. Declare variables, accept input. Okay, let's just put step number 2 there. Let's just say input. So input of centimeter. Then input centimeter. Then operations. That is the operation. When you enter the centimeter, it will be multiplied by 100. And then so that is third, and this one is fourth. So now the last step is output. So now you output the meters. So now when you multiply centimeters with that 100, you will get the meters. So you have to print that output on the screen. So those are the meters. So I can just say COD. Okay, you can just say print meters. I say print meters just because this is not an actual code, it's a pseudocode, it's my planning. So it doesn't have to be a code, it can be just simply English with a small code. Yeah, so okay. Now I finish this code. Let's go and write the code. So now let's declare variables. So let me just name float. 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 Yeah. Then let me say centimeter. Then float again. Meters. Then I have to, okay, like the steps there, say declare variable. Then I have to perform second step. So now I have to ask for the input. So before I ask the input, I have to prompt the user so that the user have to enter the centimeters. So enter the centimeters. Enter centimeter. Then the measurement, enter the measurements. Measurement. Enter the measurement. And line, of course. Then in. Now I take the console input. So this is centimeter. Now I'll just take the input from the user. But now I have this. Now when the user enters the centimeter, this is the container. So when the user enters the number in centimeter. It will be stored here inside the memory, and then after it will be stored here, I have to create another, let's say float meter is equal to centimeter times 100. So that is the proper operation. So that is the third operation there. After this is entered, so now we'll have meters equals to centimeter times the 100. So that is the centimeters that we entered with the user. So now I have to print that the output, the last step, see out. So I'll say, let's say, let me just print the centimeters first. Centimeters, then let's see, then equals to meters. The equals to meters. Yeah, and now I have to compile our program so that it can be converted into object code, and then it can be linked to the code inside the linker, and then it can be loaded into the memory, and then after that it can be executed. So let's hit the compile button. But of course, if it has a syntax error, it will not be converted into an object code. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. Let's look at it. Okay, there's the error there. Float. Oh, there's the problem. Then the same problem there. So that was a syntax error. So the compiler couldn't convert the code into an object code. An object code is a machine language of the source code in high level language. So it was unable to convert it into an object code or a machine code. So now it has managed to convert it into an object code. So now the user now can enter the meters. So now let's enter 5 centimeters. So we want to convert that 5 centimeters into meters. Let's see, like 5 centimeter equals to blah blah blah. That is a garbage value, by the way. I don't think that is true, just because if you times that by 100, 5 times it's supposed to be 500. So let's check where we go wrong, because you have to know by your head what's going on. So okay, let's just say then we run it again to see the results. uh, so now like 5 centimeter equals to 500 meters. So now our code is good. So we're set. So again, if you want to convert meters, or if you want to convert meters to centimeters, you just have to divide by 100. See, now it perform the inverse. So let's do it. Let's do it. So to like this, meters divided by 100. So now we have meters now. Enter the measurements. Let's see. Yeah. So we want to convert that 500 meters into that 500 centimeters into meters. So we know it will be 5 meters, because if you divide 500 by 5, okay. Let me not lie to you guys. Let me not lie to you. Let me just show you. So now the user will enter meters. Then you'll declare the space. I'll just allocate memory there, and then you accept the input. You accept the meters from the user. And after you have accepted the meters, you print the meters, and then you say meters equals to, you divide those meters, and then you divide those meters by 100, and then you get centimeters. So that is our code for converting meters to centimeters. So the first code was converting centimeters, was converting meters to centimeters. This one converts meters to centimeters. So let's see if it's running well. So okay, at first we have 5 centimeters, and then 5 centimeters was converted to 500 centimeters. So now in this case we have 500 meters. We want to have that 5 centimeters. So let's see if that's true, or how true that is. Let's print our program. It's converted. So guys, you have to know the steps now. Code for pre-process. Those guys are processed by the preprocessor program, and then your compiler converts your code into a machine code or an object code. And then if you have errors, your compiler will not be able to convert that code into an object code. But then if you don't have any errors, then it will be successful, just like this. There are no zero errors, zero warnings. So that means my compiler was able to convert the code into an object code. So now the linker has linked it with the code in the library, and then the loader has loaded the code into the memory. So now I have to just execute it. As here, just press run and then enter the measurement. I just enter 500 grams. So that's 5 meters. That's 5 meters. I want to know 5 meters out 5 meters equals to how many centimeters? I want to know 500 meters equals to how many centimeters? So see, 500 meters equals to 5 centimeters. So we did this earlier, so we know, guys. So thank you guys for watching, and may you please subscribe and comment and like if you can, so that I can be able to make others videos. You know, if you if people don't subscribe, you just get demotivated and think no, they don't like the content, and then you just have to create another content, then you stop creating the content. So if you like the content, just hit the like button and subscribe button. I will create more videos like this for you. Oh, this video is for beginners, by the way. So okay, this is the end, guys.